My name is Jeremy Burt, formerly of Velocity. We've hosted and done events here with acuCONNECT, and excited to be back in the past under a different brand. But so I'm with Paya now, and I'm head of B2B business development. And really, most of our integrations and the stuff we're going to be showing you today is kind of falls under my realm and the team of product that is led by Nick Hoyer. So Nick is with us as well, and he is going to be doing a demo here shortly, and he is director of our Acumatica product. So let me get my screen advanced, and we're going to keep this pretty simple. Payments is payments inside of native Acumatica to a large degree. We're going to touch on the stuff that we integrated and the features and the things that we've customized, which by and large, if you're familiar with the Paya integration, formerly Velocity, most of this stuff has come from customer requests, and that we're really excited to show you what we've been working on the last year and the things that we've advanced into. So going through this list really quick, and we'll just touch on a couple of these as conceptually. The integrations of Click to Pay Customer Portal has had tremendous advancements. That is a full-featured portal that complements, runs alongside. Customer Portal for Acumatica, as you all know, is really more if you're going to be allowing sort of that e-commerce experience, allow people to build their own orders. Ours is really more about the invoice or sales order or quote delivery. We've got a lot of neat functionality and things that we do, but it allows you to essentially have a full-time CSR that allows you to collect payments 24/7. It's fully integrated. It's bi-directional, and it allows you to everything posts back natively inside of Acumatica. And when we talk, you hear a lot of buzzwords about payments, about omni-channel. And the way that we deal with omni-channel or think about it is that the customers get to be in the front end that you want them to shop in, or where you're going to collect payments. But yet all of that should post back into Acumatica. And if you need to do something such as a return, refund, void, all of that payment data hits all the appropriate fields. So it's just like you ran it inside of Acumatica. So if you have to interact with it at a later date, you can. So when you think about when we fall under this tab of integration, that's how we really look at the term integration. So with that, we're doing mobile. In the mobile app, we support devices. So you can take EMV or contactless payments in the field with one of our mobile devices. The customer portal, we do support payment workflows inside of that as well. And then we brought in a really slick integration with One Retail, where it's beyond just a counter sale experience of retail. We're allowing you to do some really neat things, such as you can take a payment that's stored inside of Acumatica. Say I send somebody down to your store to purchase something. You tell your employee to come down and put it on file, but you don't necessarily want to have terms accounts and be in collections. You're making people pay at the point of sale, but yet you didn't have to have them bring a card. They can use that stored card from within Acumatica and pull those payments into the counter sale experience. So really slick integration that Sean from One Retail and our Acumatica developer MVP, figured out how to build and make that bi-directional. Moving on to the integration features, the multiple companies, we have a lot of requests where people will run one merchant account, but we've also had several that, nuances. I may have an LLC that has other partners involved with this branch because we acquired it and various things. And so they want those merchant account fees to be broken out by branch or by company. So we're running individual MIDs. That's something that we've been doing for quite a while. The integrated terminals, that's probably what we were known for coming out of the gates, was we had a great counter sale function. And that doesn't do cash drawer management. That's when you're going to get into your more advanced point of sale. But if you want to just be able to accept a credit card and have a checkout experience, like I don't have to explain that. We all go to the store. We allow you to work right out of Acumatica, but yet send the transaction amount to a credit card terminal. The other great thing about that is that terminal is contactless, and all of these terminals have point-to-point encryption. So none of the credit card data actually flows through any of your Acumatica ecosystem. So our compliance is extremely simple. It's all P2P. So we have about a 26-question PCI compliance process, which is really nice. The tokenized information, I think I alluded to that. Every time you run a transaction anywhere that is in one of our ecosystems, Click to Pay, counter sale. You guys in the back office can interact with that document at a later date, and you have that card there stored. We do have the ability to hide that for folks that have cash sale customers where you don't necessarily start it from a new customer. So we have a very innovative cash sale process that allows you just to have somebody walk in the door, sell it to them. We're storing that on that particular document. So if you do need a refund or void, you can interact with it. Capture for More works great for all those shipping integrations, or even in some cases where you're doing something internally later where you're using the pre-authorization process to hold the money, start the process, but you maybe have added on to it, or you have prices have adjusted due to shipping tax, some other various things, and we can actually capture, if you will. I already touched on the PCI compliance, but the level 2 and level 3 is an important detail. If the data is there to supplement level 2 and level 3, we'll do it. If it's not provided throughout the data collection process, then we supplement that to make sure we're qualifying everything at level 2 and level 3 at the best qualifications. And then you can also ask us more about, we do have some recurring billing and some automated processes that we've developed as well. Alongside some of the, and we, it's always, Acumatica is coming out with things. And so sometimes some of our features end up getting consumed into the core. And as we move forward in new features, we supplement that and they take care of that part of the code. And so we're always trying to stay a couple steps ahead based on what customers are needing or could be struggling with. The AR automation part of this is the fee recovery is more of what most folks might know as surcharge. We called it fee recovery based on the fact that our methodology allows you to not just surcharge a credit card. You can add on for any type of payment. So if you want to charge for a wire, we can put a fee in there for a wire. If you want to charge for an ACH transaction, we can match up the fee structure to however the credit card processing has been negotiated. Historically, just 2 seconds on that. Folks have just said, well, you're going to pay 4% or whatever Visa allows, you're going to pay 3%. Well, because of the fact that people were going back to a higher rate to have fee recovery to essentially put that off on the customer, that over the last couple of years has evolved where it's gotten more competitive. And in some cases now that Visa and MasterCard are capping it at 3%, there are some cases that you're actually just offsetting your fees and you're not always collecting all the fees depending on international. There's a lot of variables in that, and we can take that sort of one off if you have some deeper questions. The real-time bidirectional should not be overlooked. I'll just give you a simple thing that from the Acumatica folks here that you can understand. I prepare a sales order or an invoice for somebody, and I send it off to them through my links, and they say, hey, I actually needed 3 of these, or maybe you put 4 and they only wanted 2. You can go back into that document, make an adjustment, sync it, tell the customer to refresh their screen. Their document that's attached, the PDF and their totals, everything will update. The link is still good. We're doing this in a way that's not like, well, now I have to go through the email process again. I need to update. Our real-time bidirectional data is very complete and very thorough. And then I think, again, another really nice thing the team did is our click-to-pay portal is completely brandable as your own. The only thing that you'll see in there is a click-to-pay link is not branded as your particular entity, but it's pretty generic. But the look and the feel, the documents, everything that's in there is going to have your branding. The only thing the customer sees in the bottom is just a very faint click-to-pay logo at the bottom. And their experience is very simplified. While it's a very complex product, it's just they see their documents depending on if it's a quote or a sales order, an invoice, and they can multi-pay, they can short pay on some of them, obviously, depending on the rule sets. And then the dynamic discounting notifications, the way you have your clients set up, all of those features from Acumatica flow through to the portal. So if they're paying early and they're expecting a discount, when we configure and set all that up to match what you've done inside of your rule set, our click-to-pay portal behaves the same way. Can the click-to-pay link be included in the emails? Yes, that's all included. And the other thing, we can actually give all the payment data to you guys during the process or to the consultant to make sure that when you get a finalized document, that it's got all of the receipt data essentially is available and exposed to the consultants. So when they're building templates, that everything's there. I know I went through it really quick. We don't have a lot of time. I do want Nick to have an opportunity. And if you guys don't know Nick Hoyer, he's done, I don't even know how many implementations over the years. And he's been in the Acumatica ecosystem for a long time. And he heads this up from the point that we go through the merchant account agreement process and set everything up. Once you become ready for implementation, or maybe you need a sandbox and testing and other things, Nick is along for the ride. He's a resource that's invaluable. And then if you need support, or as you need updates and versions, or if you have a request for customization, Nick and his team handle all of that and make sure that you guys have all the support. And you're not speaking to somebody that just knows payments or a salesperson. You're speaking to somebody that's done implementations and is very experienced in the ERP space. With that, Nick, I'm going to let you share your screen and do a quick little demo, and I'll let you take it from there. So let me hit stop sharing here, and then we'll follow up with some more questions and Q&A when he's done.
Thank you, Jeremy. Can everybody hear me?
Yep.
All right. So I'd like to take a minute, and we're going to dive right into just a couple of our features here. Like Jeremy said, that, we have a lot of features in our integration, but I want to kind of spotlight two of them for you. First one I'd like to demonstrate here is our fee recovery, or surcharge, is what some people know it as. Like Jeremy said, our surcharge integration doesn't work it's not designed to work just on credit card payments. We can add this feature functionality to any payment type. So once you've created and configured fee rules, is what we're going to call them, this is where it's going to help you design or tell you what and how you're going to calculate the fee on the payment. So we have lots of flexibility here. We can create multiple tiers, single tiers. It can be of a fixed amount, of percent, and it can be of both. So after you've configured a few fee rules, the next step is to just assign them to the various payment methods. And here, we'll show an example. On the credit card payment method, the fee rule is going to be assigned here to the processing center. And then this is where you're going to associate what GL account and sub-account combination that the fee amount will be posted to. All right. So once you've configured the payment methods, I'll show you another example here. So like I said, we don't have to work with just the credit card payment method. So in this case, we have a wire transfer payment method. So maybe you have, you're taking wire transfers, but you want to do a fixed fee. So here we've set the same settings here, so that you can have a fixed fee associated to any wire transfers. So let's see how that works inside Acumatica. Right, from a sales order, so because our integration is built onto the payment, anywhere you take a payment and you use that payment method that has a fee rule assigned to it, the fees will be applied. So if I just go ahead and start a new payment, grab my customer, and add our details. Right. So now I've got a sales order, and I'm going to take a payment from the sales order. Like I said, anywhere in Acumatica you can take payment. This functionality will work. It's not limited to just sales order or sales order invoices. Anywhere payments generated. This is just one example. So I'm going to select create payment. We're going to let Acumatica work here. And here my default payment method is coming in from a customer, so I'm going to change this to credit card. And here's where our fee recovery is going to come into play. So now I've selected this credit card payment method. You'll see here that our process fee amount has been calculated based on this one being a 3% fee. If I change this to, maybe this is an ACH, we have a different fee rule here. It's going to update and associate a fixed amount of $1.25 for an ACH payment. We'll go back to our credit card. I'm just going to run my card on file. Capture. This is going to go out just like the standard integration inside Acumatica for credit card processing. It's going to go out, process the credit card payment, bring it back into Acumatica, apply it to the sales order, right? But you'll notice that we've broken out, and you'll show here the fee, and you'll show here the amount applied to order. So once Acumatica updates and releases my payment, we'll drill into the payment and show how the GL transactions looks. So we still have our sales order now updated, right? Only the $110 of the amount for the order was applied, but we still have our payment was for $113. So your fee's been calculated in there. I drill into my payment and I look at our GL batch. You'll see when you have a 3-line GL batch now instead of the normal 2, where we've credited our offset account. And in this case, I've configured this to AR accrual account. Like you saw earlier, it can be set to any GL account. But here it's going to offset that fee to that account. And then we're going to hit our clearing and AR. So everything's balanced out, but the fee is still taken consideration. Right? So like I said, this is not limited to sales order, and it's not limited to payment type. All right. So there's one more feature that I'd like to spotlight. Again, like I said, we have a lot of features that we bring with our integration, but there's another feature that we'd like to hit on here today, and this is going to be our click to pay. And I want to focus a little bit more outside the normal click to pay, where we can just send a link, right? We're going to email a link. We're going to show you all that right now, but I want to focus a little bit more on how a customer can pay that link using their our customer portal, instead of just an anonymous link that they're just going to click on and pay. So I'm going to, again, start a new sales order. Add my details. Right. So we have a sales order, and now we're going to send this link. In this case, I'm going to email this link to this customer, but I'm going to use Acumatica, and I'm just going to manually email it here, or I'm going to email, and I can also email it from batch processing if you're using automation schedules. I'm just going to select email sales order, and this is all Acumatica email processing. Once this sales order updates and it's emailed, I'm going to click on our email here. Bear with me, my instance is running slow here, so I'm going to close this out. So now a link has been generated and it's automatically applied to that email. And this is a little example of the email that's sent out and what your customer will receive. So here we've added the functionality where you have a little pay now button. The customer gets this email, they're going to select pay now. So now I'm the customer, right? I've received my email. I've clicked on my link, and here I am.
Hey, Nick, I don't think we're seeing all your layers. Yeah, because I didn't see when you drilled into the GL.
I'm only showing the one window.
Probably.
So thank you for that.
Yep.
I apologize. Now, can you see the other windows?
Let's see. When you click on that link, if it pops up.
All right.
There it goes.
So now I've drilled into my email from Acumatica. I apologize for that. And here I've received my email. Again, now I'm the customer. So I've received my email, and I've got a little button here for pay now. So I'm going to click my pay now button. This takes them to now they're a link. So this here's their pay now window. This is completely brandable, like Jeremy said earlier. But here, like I said, I want to focus on the actual customer portal that we have, which gives you some extended functionality. So instead of just collecting pay and entering my details here and just paying this here, I'm going to log in to this customer. This customer's given an account. So I'm going to click on sign in to click to pay. I'm going to enter my customer, enter my password, and I'm going to log in. So this is going to bring me to my customer portal. So now as a customer, I can see a lot more detail than just paying a link, right? I can see all of my invoices, previously paid invoices and current pay invoices. I can also see credit memos. I can see all my sales orders. Here I have my sales orders. Here's my sales order I just created. It has a link on it. I can also see quotes. So we can do payments with inside quotes. So you can generate payment links on a quote, and the customer can pay those quotes as well, just like a sales order. I can see my previous activity here. A little dashboard breakdown shows me the total invoices unpaid, total unpaid sales orders, total quotes, and total unpaid. I can see most recent payments. I can also drill into those recent payments. And again, as a customer, I can print receipts. So I can log in, print my own receipt from a previous payment. Right? Or I can, my window here, see what transaction this receipt was related to. So this will take me to the sales order that this payment paid. From here, I can drill in and see the PDF from Acumatica. This is the Acumatica form, not a separate form that's managed or maintained anywhere else. So you can see how powerful how we can bring in all the information that's visible inside Acumatica that's related to the customer into their own view now. Right. So let's take a minute here. I'm going to go back to my sales order.
Nick, we just have a couple of minutes left.
Yep.
And I do want to make sure that we address a couple questions that have come up, but keep going.
Sure. Sure. Let's go ahead and just pay the sales order so we can finish this example out. So here I'm gonna, again, as a customer, our fee recovery, if we have it turned on, if you see in there, is also extended up to the portal. So you'll see here that the surcharging works with inside of our Click to Pay and our Click to Pay portal. So I'm a customer, I'm going to save some time. I'm going to use one of my saved cards. And I'm going to use, it's going to pull in my billing address. And I'm just going to make sure I'm not a robot.
Oh, you're
And I'm going to submit payment.
am.
Now I've made this payment, the sales order is updated, and then inside Acumatica, we're going to sync that payment in through. I'm going to manually run this process. This is a process that we'll be running in the back end as a webhook or as a scheduled automation. But I'm going to go ahead and manually run this through. So this, again, this process is scheduled or is set as a webhook. But this is going to sync in that payment I just made and apply it to our sales order. Once this process finishes running, we'll go back to our sales order, and then we'll see that our payment's brought in and applied. Bring up our sales order, and here's our payment. Right? So all this, again, the fee amounts are all brought in just like it was before. And I can, as you see, I can maintain those documents from here. I'm going to go ahead and open up for some questions, but I do want to spotlight that you can make multiple payments. So we can apply credit. You can allow your customers to apply credit memos on to specific invoices, multiple invoices. They can, if I can click in the right field, they can adjust the amount they want to pay for this invoice or apply. And then they can pay multiple invoices with a single payment. Works the same process. They select the payments, the invoice they want to pay, select begin payment. I can pay via ACH, I can pay via credit card. I'll use my saved card again.
Well, Nick, with the sake, just for the sake of time, I know I want to tackle a couple questions here, so I want to
Yep, go ahead.
let's go back and just make sure we address our questions before we run out of time. Don't want to keep anybody waiting for check-in.
And Nick, if you want to hop back over to the sales order, we can answer one of the questions from there.
Yes, sure.
Jeremy, do you want to address the Canadian bank question?
Yes. Let me just see if I saw where that was at.
It's in the Q&A tab. So I'll read it to you. What support does Paya have for Canadian Acumatica users? Can you support payments within Canada? Also, do you support debit card Intermec payments?
Interact, yeah. I don't know the Interact exact. So Interact online, card not present, falls into the Visa MasterCard rails when it's an online payment. We're working on card present in Canada. I don't have a status on the card present side of it, but I do know we are supporting Canadian payments.
Lovely. Nick, would you click on the payments tab and you can answer Tom's other question? The payments tab within the sales order. The question was, is this coming into Acumatica as a payment or is this coming into Acumatica as a prepayment? That this matters to them because of the general ledger accounts that are affecting those two transactions. And,
Absolutely.
And so it's coming in as a prepayment, which is what we expect. Is that something that's driven by the processor?
Yes. So you have it's the way you configure So here in the processing center, you're going to configure how Click to Pay is going to bring the payment in. You have a choice of payment or prepayment. So you're going to set, in this instance, I've set my configurations to bring it as a prepayment. So you can configure it to come in accordingly.
Tom, feel free to circle back if there's other questions that you have. We're just about a minute past our time. Nick, Jeremy, and I don't have anything after this, so we're going to stick around for a couple of minutes and then hop in and see John. So anybody who has further questions, stick around and feel free to ask them. And by the way, Tom says excellent prepayment config options. Very happy with that.
You bet. Again, a lot of this stuff is, if it's not been architected that way by Sean and Nick because of previous interactions, it's based on requests from customers and consultants. So you'll find there's a lot of depth here that we haven't even really gotten into, but appreciate everybody's time. And I'm going
to remind everybody they can go over to the expo and see somebody over there. Jeremy or Nick, can you pop in some contact information into the chat for anybody who wants to reach out to you directly?
I saw Jen was on here. I want to make sure Jen is leading up our sales team for our ERP integrated payments team.
Perfect.
And I believe Jen has answered a couple questions. And Jen, do you want to drop in, if we're using the ERP at Paya, which particular email they could reach out to?
For those of you who are leaving us, happy Acumatica Conference Day for those who celebrate. Thank you for being here. And like I said, we won't hop off till we've answered all of your questions. Yeah. So keep them coming.
By the way, thank you to the acuCONNECT team for putting this on. It's always great. I know it's a ton of work, and we appreciate having the opportunity to join you guys every year. So thank you guys.
John, that's the email we're looking for. Thank you.
Yep. ERP at Paya. Yep. That'll take you right into our sales team, and we'll be able, if they can't answer the question, they'll bring in Nick, myself, one of the team members. So
I have to say aloud, I'm impressed with the fact that the customer emails are going through the Acumatica emails. It seems like a lot of these things that happen external are really hard to trace through. That's a really cool feature.
A lot of our functionality, the way Nick and Sean designed and went through and set this stuff up there's a lot of things that we can run business events off of. So when we know something happens, something else is triggered. I know that's probably elementary for a lot of the Acumatica folks, but as we've developed Click to Pay, there's been a lot of other people and a lot of other integrations that are dependent on knowing when those payments are posted or what's happening. So
I know, Jeremy, you started to answer the question about the Click to Pay invoices. I'm sorry, the Click to Pay link being included in the emails that go out with invoices. Could you address that one more time? Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
so we can configure it to email the link. We can configure it to be a clickable link on a PDF that you email. So there's a lot of functionality in there.
Once the link's generated and live, you can also, we have some CSRs, situations where they have a CSR that doesn't want to wait for the scheduled tasks and the processes, and they'll go in and just grab that link and copy it and send it to somebody because they're
in our session. That's a great point, because waiting that 5 minutes is painful.
Yep. It's all once it's there and in Acumatica, they can grab it, copy it, and share it. It's not as pretty, right? Because it's a longer link, but it's there and completely exposed for them to do as needed. And again, sometimes it's just that anonymous link some workflows are using. Some folks, they turn on portals for some of their users, but they still service them in a way that they want to grab that link. So
yeah.
Perfect.
And the link is live. So if you notice there, I just changed and added it to the sales order, and I re-clicked, it brought us back to that link, and it was already updated with the details that I added to the sales order.
Well, we better get over to John.
I was going to say, I don't want to be the reason that this group of people chases over to John. This was an outstanding session. Thank you, guys.
Yes. Appreciate the opportunity, guys. Thank you. Have a good day. We'll see you over in the other event.
Cheers.
Thank you, everybody.